Imagine this. You're talking to him, saying all the right words, but something feels off. He's listening, but he's not fully engaged. His attention drifts, his responses are short, and deep down, you know you don't have his full focus. You wonder why. You question if you should say more, explain better, or try harder to make him see your worth. But what if the problem isn't what you're saying, but how you're saying it? What if attraction isn't built through words alone, but through the energy behind them? Most people speak to be heard, but the ones who truly captivate, they speak in a way that makes someone feel something. They communicate with a presence so powerful that their words linger. Their energy stays and their absence is felt when they're gone. That's the difference between someone who is momentarily interesting and someone who is unforgettable. And once you understand this, you stop trying to convince people of your value. You embody it, because when you talk to him the right way, he won't just hear you. He'll feel drawn to you, not out of obligation, not out of politeness, but out of something deeper, something he can't quite explain, but never wants to let go of. Everything begins with energy. Before you even open your mouth, before a single word is spoken, the energy you bring into a conversation is already communicating for you. It's shaping the way someone perceives you, influencing the way they feel in your presence, and determining whether they are drawn to you or indifferent. Most people think communication is about words, about saying the right thing at the right time, but the truth is that words are secondary. What truly captivates someone is the energy behind those words, the invisible force that either pulls them in or pushes them away. When you speak from a place of insecurity, of seeking approval, of needing validation, that energy is felt immediately. Even if you say all the right things, something feels off. The conversation lacks weight. It doesn't land deeply because the energy behind your words is uncertain, unsteady, and looking for something outside of itself. This is why some people can say very little, yet command deep attention, while others can talk endlessly and still be ignored. It's not the content of the words that matters most. It's the frequency of the person speaking them. If you want someone to feel addicted to your presence, you must first become aware of the energy you are projecting when you communicate. Most people don't realize how much their thoughts, emotions, and inner state affect their interactions. They enter conversations with subconscious fears, self-doubt, or the need to be liked, and that energy leaks into every word they say. The key to captivating someone lies in shifting your inner state before you even engage. Instead of looking outward for validation, you turn inward and align yourself with confidence, certainty, and presence. Presence is one of the most magnetic forces in communication. When you are fully present, undistracted, and completely engaged in the moment, people feel it. They feel the depth of your attention, they feel seen, and this is rare in a world where most people are lost in their thoughts, their worries, or their desire to impress. When you remove all of that mental noise and simply exist in the conversation with full awareness, you create an energy that is irresistible. The person in front of you starts to feel drawn in, not because of what you are saying, but because of the intensity of the present moment you create. Think about the last time you had a conversation with someone who was fully engaged with you. Someone who wasn't checking their phone, who wasn't thinking about what they were going to say next, but who was just there, completely tuned into you. That experience is rare. And because it's rare, it's powerful. It makes an impact. It makes people feel special, and they associate that feeling with you. This is what makes them want to come back for more. But presence alone isn't enough. Your energy must also be grounded in certainty. Certainty is what makes your words carry weight. It's what makes people take you seriously, feel drawn to your perspective, and see you as someone they want to be around. Certainty doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean forcing your opinions onto others. It means speaking in a way that reflects inner alignment. When you talk as if you already know the outcome. Speak from a place of confidence, not from a place of seeking reassurance. One of the biggest mistakes people make when talking to someone they want to attract is subtly asking for validation through their tone, their energy, or their phrasing. They might phrase something as a question when it should be a statement. They might over-explain instead of letting their words stand on their own. They might fidget, avoid eye contact or speak too quickly, revealing nervousness. All of these things send the message that they are not fully secure within themselves, and that insecurity disrupts the flow of attraction. The way you speak should reflect inner peace. Slow down, let your words breathe. Silence is not your enemy, it's your ally. When you pause, when you take your time, when you allow the weight of your words to settle before moving on, you create an atmosphere that naturally pulls people in. Most people rush to fill silence because they fear it, but those who understand energy know that silence creates anticipation, and anticipation is one of the most powerful forces in attraction. Another aspect of energy and communication is emotional regulation. People are drawn to those who have control over their emotions, not those who are controlled by them. If you enter a conversation feeling anxious, needy, or desperate for attention, that energy will be felt. It will repel rather than attract. But if you enter a conversation from a place of calm confidence, of knowing your worth, regardless of the outcome, then you create an energy that others naturally want to be around. This is why detachment is so powerful. When you no longer need someone to respond a certain way in order to feel good about yourself, you become magnetic. Mastering energy in communication isn't about pretending to be confident or faking a certain persona. It's about actually becoming that version of yourself. It's about doing the inner work so that when you speak, you are speaking from a place of true self-worth rather than trying to convince someone of it. When you align with that energy, people feel it. They don't just hear your words, they experience you. And that experience is what keeps them coming back. Most people believe that attraction is built through words, grand gestures, or constant communication. But in reality, one of the most powerful ways to draw someone in and make them value you is through emotional containment and mystery. When you learn how to regulate your emotions and maintain an air of unpredictability, you shift the dynamic of any relationship. People naturally gravitate toward what they can't fully grasp. And when you become someone who doesn't reveal everything immediately, you create an energy that makes others crave your presence. Emotional containment is the ability to hold your emotions without spilling them out impulsively. It means not over-explaining yourself, not seeking constant validation, and not feeling the need to prove your worth through words. When you speak from a place of emotional stability, your energy becomes naturally magnetic. Many people, without realizing it, give away their power by talking too much, over-explaining their thoughts, or trying to make someone understand them deeply right away. But attraction isn't built in a single moment. It unfolds over time. The more you can sit with your emotions and communicate selectively, the more you create a dynamic where the other person becomes invested in figuring you out. Mystery is not about playing games or being deceptive. It's about maintaining a sense of individuality and emotional independence. When you reveal everything about yourself too quickly, you leave nothing for the other person to discover. Human nature is wired for curiosity, for pursuit, for the excitement of unveiling something layer by layer. When you hold back just enough, when you allow silence to exist, when you don't immediately react to every emotion or question thrown at you, you create a feeling of intrigue. The person you're speaking to begins to lean in more, to wonder about you, to desire a deeper connection because you haven't handed it all over at once. Think about conversations where someone is overly eager to be understood. They rush to explain their feelings, they share too much personal information too soon, or they talk excessively to fill every moment of silence. The effect is often the opposite of what they intend. Instead of drawing someone in, they create a sense of overwhelm. The listener doesn't feel the need to invest any effort in getting to know them because everything is already being laid out in front of them. But when you master emotional containment and maintain a subtle air of mystery, you become someone who is intriguing, someone whose presence feels valuable because it isn't immediately given away. This applies not only in romantic relationships, but in all interactions. The most charismatic people are those who don't rush to fill every gap with words. They don't overshare, they don't over-explain, and they don't try to force a connection. Instead, they allow the natural rhythm of conversation to unfold, leaving space for curiosity to build. They understand that true connection isn't about bombarding someone with information. It's about creating a space where both people feel a pull toward each other. The mystery also creates a powerful shift in perception. When you are unpredictable in subtle ways, when you don't always respond immediately, when you keep a part of yourself reserved, you shift from being the pursuer to being the one who is pursued. People are naturally drawn to what they can't fully predict. This doesn't mean being distant or emotionally unavailable, but rather maintaining a balance between openness and restraint. You give just enough to create connection, but not so much that there's nothing left to explore. Another crucial part of emotional containment is learning to regulate your reactions. When something triggers you, when someone tests your patience, when a conversation doesn't go exactly as planned, how do you respond? If you immediately react with frustration, over-explanation, or emotional outbursts, you reveal a lack of control over your own energy. But if you pause, breathe, and respond from a place of composure, you communicate strength. And strength, especially emotional strength, is one of the most attractive qualities you can embody. People remember how they feel in your presence. If your energy is scattered, if your emotions fluctuate wildly, if you give too much too soon, it creates a sense of imbalance. But if your energy is steady, if your emotions are contained, if you communicate with a sense of calm confidence, you become someone who is both comforting and captivating. You create a space where others feel safe yet challenged, intrigued yet at ease. There is immense power in knowing when to speak and when to hold back. Most people are uncomfortable with silence, so they rush to fill it. But those who understand energy know that silence is not empty, it's a tool. A well-placed pause, an unanswered question, a moment of unspoken understanding, all of these create depth in conversation. When you learn to be comfortable with those moments, when you no longer feel the need to explain yourself or prove yourself, you naturally command respect and admiration. Mystery and emotional containment aren't about manipulation or withholding affection. They're about understanding the natural flow of attraction and human connection. When you become someone who doesn't overshare, who holds their emotions with confidence, who allows curiosity to build instead of giving everything away at once, you step into a level of presence that is rare. And anything that is rare is valuable. When you enter a conversation, the most powerful thing you can bring is your presence, not your words, not your appearance, not even your intelligence, just the depth of your attention. Presence is what makes people feel seen, heard, and understood on a level that goes beyond words. It is what makes someone feel drawn to you without even knowing why. Most people don't realize how rare true presence is because they have spent their entire lives in a constant state of distraction. They are either thinking about the past, worrying about the future, or planning what they're going to say next, instead of fully engaging in the present moment. But the moment you become someone who can offer their undivided attention, you separate yourself from everyone else. Think about the last time you had a conversation with someone who was truly present with you. Someone who wasn't checking their phone, who wasn't looking around the room, who wasn't thinking about what they were going to say next, but was just there, fully engaged in the conversation, fully focused on you. That experience is rare. And because it is rare, it is magnetic. It creates a sense of deep connection without effort, without force, without trying to impress. Presence itself is the attraction. Most people are too caught up in their own internal dialogue to truly be present in a conversation. They are constantly analyzing, overthinking, or trying to control the outcome of an interaction. This prevents them from fully engaging with the energy of the moment. But when you shift from thinking to feeling, from planning to experiencing, you tap into something powerful. You create a space where the person in front of you feels important, valued, and deeply connected to you. They don't necessarily know why they feel this way. They just do. Presence is not just about listening, it's about how you listen. Most people listen with the intent to respond rather than with the intent to understand. They are waiting for their turn to speak, forming their reply before the other person has even finished talking. But true presence means dropping that habit. It means being completely open, absorbing the words, the tone, the energy of the person in front of you without rushing to add your own thoughts. This kind of listening is incredibly powerful because it makes people feel heard in a way they rarely experience. When someone feels truly heard, they feel safe. And when they feel safe, they open up. This is how deep connection is created. Beyond listening, presence is about the energy you bring into an interaction. When you are fully present, your body language shifts, your eye contact deepens, your breathing slows, your voice becomes steady and calm. These subtle shifts create a sense of grounding, a feeling of being completely at ease in the moment. This energy is contagious. The person you are speaking to will subconsciously match your energy, mirroring your calmness and presence. This is why certain people have an almost hypnotic effect on those around them. They exude a sense of peace and awareness that pulls others into the present moment with them. One of the greatest signs of presence is comfort with silence. Most people feel the need to fill every gap in a conversation, to keep talking so there is no awkward pause. But those who understand the power of presence know that silence is not awkward, it is magnetic. When you are comfortable with silence, you signal confidence. You allow space for emotions, thoughts, and curiosity to arise naturally rather than forcing them through constant talking. The most captivating conversations are often not the ones filled with endless words, but the ones where the pauses, the unspoken moments, carry just as much weight as the dialogue itself. Being present also means being free from attachment to the outcome of a conversation. When you are too focused on what someone thinks of you, whether they will like you or whether you are saying the right thing, you are no longer present. Your energy shifts from connection to control. And this is felt on an unconscious level. But when you let go of that need, when you are simply in the moment enjoying the conversation without trying to shape it into something specific, you become naturally magnetic. People are drawn to those who make them feel good in the present moment, not those who seem overly concerned with controlling the future. Presence is rare in a world full of distraction, and anything that is rare is valuable. It does not require you to say the perfect thing, to look a certain way, or to perform in any way. It simply requires you to be fully where you are, engaged and attuned to the energy of the moment. This alone will make you stand out, will make people feel connected to you, and will create an unspoken attraction that words could never accomplish. When you speak to someone, the energy behind your words matters more than the words themselves. Many people don't realize that the way they communicate is often driven by an unconscious desire for validation, approval, or reassurance. They say things not because they truly believe them, but because they want a certain reaction. This neediness lowers their energy and places them in a position of seeking rather than attracting. When you shift your mindset and start speaking from a place of self-worth rather than from a need for validation, the entire dynamic changes. You move from trying to prove your value to simply embodying it. This shift in energy is what makes people respect, admire, and feel drawn to you. Most people chase approval without realizing it. They soften their words, they phrase statements as questions, they over-explain their emotions, and they try to ensure that what they say is received in a positive way. But the moment you try to manage someone else's perception of you, you give away your power. Instead of expressing yourself freely, you start adjusting your words and energy to fit what you think someone else wants. This weakens your presence. The most magnetic people do not try to be liked. They simply express themselves with confidence and allow others to either resonate with their energy or not. This detachment is powerful because it communicates that your sense of worth is not dependent on someone else's validation. When you communicate from a place of high value, you don't feel the need to over-explain. You say what you mean and you leave space for the other person to absorb it. You don't rush to fill silence because you understand that your words carry weight. When you talk, you do so with certainty. And this certainty is what makes people pay attention. There is a massive difference between someone who speaks with the energy of, I hope you agree with me, and someone who speaks with the energy of, this is what I believe. And I don't need external validation to feel confident in it. That second kind of energy is magnetic because it signals strength. and strength is deeply attractive. This is not about arrogance or dismissing other perspectives. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you don't feel the need to constantly defend or prove yourself. People who lack confidence tend to explain themselves too much, giving unnecessary details and justifications in an attempt to be understood. But true confidence doesn't seek understanding, it simply exists. When you say something with certainty and then stop talking, you allow the other person to process it on their own. This creates a sense of intrigue because it shifts the energy. Instead of you chasing their approval, they begin investing energy into understanding and engaging with you. One of the most effective ways to elevate your communication is to replace neediness with self assuredness. If you catch yourself over explaining, stop. If you feel the urge to soften your words to be more likable, resist it. If you find yourself seeking reassurance through someone else's reaction, shift your focus inward. Ask yourself, am I saying this because I truly mean it or because I want a certain response? When you start speaking from a place of genuine self-suppression rather than a place of trying to control an outcome, you step into a different kind of power. Energy is always being exchanged in a conversation. People can feel when you are speaking from a place of confidence versus when you are speaking from a place of seeking approval. If your energy is strong, steady, and self-contained, others will feel that and respond accordingly. They will instinctively view you as someone who knows their worth. But if your energy is uncertain, overly accommodating, or filled with the fear of being misunderstood, they will subconsciously sense that you are looking for something outside of yourself. That dynamic instantly makes you less attractive because it communicates a lack of inner security. People respect those who don't try too hard to be liked. The paradox is that when you stop chasing approval, you naturally become more attractive. This is because your energy becomes rare. Most people are constantly adjusting themselves to gain acceptance, so when they meet someone who is completely at ease in their own presence, it feels refreshing. They don't have to wonder what you're thinking. They don't have to analyze your words for hidden insecurities. They can simply experience you as you are. This creates a sense of trust, a feeling that they are in the presence of someone who is grounded and real. If you want to communicate in a way that naturally attracts people, you must first believe in your own value, not in an artificial way, not as an act, but as a deep, unshakable truth. The way you see yourself is the way others will see you. If you carry yourself with the energy of someone who knows they are worthy, others will treat you accordingly. But if you doubt yourself, over-explain, or try too hard to be understood, that energy will be reflected back to you. Attraction is not about saying the right thing, it's about being in the right energy. The moment you stop seeking approval, stop over-explaining, and stop trying to prove your worth, you naturally step into a level of confidence that people can't ignore. Your energy speaks before your words do, and when that energy is rooted in certainty, you no longer need to chase, you attract. The way you carry yourself, the way you move, the way you enter a room. These things speak louder than words. Before you even say anything, people have already picked up on your energy. This is why nonverbal communication is one of the most powerful tools you have when it comes to attraction and influence. Most people think that connection is built through what they say, but in reality, it is built through what is unspoken. Your body language, your posture, your eye contact, and the way you hold space all determine how others perceive you and how they feel around you. When you become aware of these silent signals, you can shift the way people respond to you without even having to say a word. The first thing people notice about you is your posture. Before you greet someone, before you introduce yourself, your posture has already communicated something about you. If you walk into a room with slouched shoulders, a downcast gaze, or hesitant movements, you give off the energy of insecurity and uncertainty. But when you carry yourself with upright posture, when you move with intention, when your presence feels solid and grounded, people instantly register you as someone with confidence. This happens on a subconscious level, but it is undeniable. Humans are wired to pick up on strength, certainty, and presence. And posture is one of the easiest ways to project that. Eye contact is another silent but powerful form of communication. When you maintain steady eye contact, not in an aggressive way, but in a way that shows you are fully present, you create an immediate connection. Most people either avoid eye contact because they are nervous or they overdo it in an attempt to assert dominance. The key is balance. When you hold someone's gaze with calm confidence, it makes them feel seen and acknowledged. But even more than that, it communicates that you are secure in yourself. People who lack confidence tend to break eye contact quickly, look around the room while talking, or shift their gaze nervously. On the other hand, those who are comfortable in their own energy don't feel the need to look away because they are not seeking an escape. They are fully engaged in the moment, and that engagement is magnetic. Your movements also tell a story. Someone who moves too quickly, fidgets excessively, or hesitates before taking action appears uncertain, even if they don't say a word. But when you slow down your movements, when you move with purpose and precision, you give off a completely different energy. Think about the most captivating people you've seen, whether in real life or on screen. They don't rush. They don't move erratically. Their gestures are smooth, controlled, intentional. This creates a sense of presence that draws people in. It's not just about looking confident, it's about feeling it in your body and allowing that confidence to be expressed through your movements. Another silent but incredibly influential factor is the way you take up space. People who lack confidence tend to shrink themselves, whether it's through crossing their arms, hunching over, or making themselves physically smaller in a space. This is a subtle but clear signal of insecurity. On the other hand, those who are comfortable with themselves allow their body language to be open and expansive. They don't rush to fill silence. They don't fidget and they don't collapse inward. Instead, they hold space with ease. This doesn't mean being overpowering or aggressive, but rather being at ease in your own presence. When you are comfortable taking up space, others naturally respect and gravitate toward you. Breathing also plays a major role in nonverbal communication. People who are anxious tend to take shallow, quick breaths. This not only affects their own state of mind, but is also picked up on by those around them. When you slow down your breathing, when you take deep, steady breaths, your entire energy shifts, your voice becomes more grounded, your movements become smoother, and your presence becomes more powerful. This is something most people overlook, but it is one of the simplest ways to immediately change the way you carry yourself. Pauses in conversation are another overlooked but powerful tool. Most people rush to fill every silence, thinking that pauses are awkward or uncomfortable. But those who understand energy know that silence is not empty, it's powerful. When you are in a conversation, instead of rushing to respond, allow there to be a moment of space. This not only makes your words carry more weight, but also creates an air of intrigue. People are naturally drawn to those who don't feel the need to constantly explain themselves or talk just to fill space. The more comfortable you are with silence, the more control you have over the energy of any interaction. Lastly, the energy behind your smile, your expressions, and your micro reactions all contribute to how people perceive you. A genuine, slow-forming smile is far more impactful than a quick, nervous grin. A calm, relaxed expression gives off an entirely different vibe than one that is overly animated or forced. People read these small signals more than they consciously realize, and they determine whether they feel drawn to or repelled by you. Mastering nonverbal communication isn't about trying to control every movement you make. It's about becoming aware of how your body naturally expresses your internal state. When you work on your confidence, your presence, and your ability to stay grounded, your body will naturally communicate that without effort. The energy you bring into a conversation is everything. Before you even say a word, your presence has already communicated your state of mind. People may not always be aware of it consciously, but they can feel it. They can sense whether you are nervous or self-assured, whether you are open or guarded, whether you are confident or seeking validation. The energy behind your words shapes how they are received. You could say the exact same sentence in two different ways and it would create two completely different reactions. This is why mastering the energy behind your communication is far more important than focusing solely on the words you use. When you speak from a place of certainty, people naturally pay attention. Certainty is not about being aggressive or loud. It's about knowing that what you are saying carries value. It's about believing in your words so deeply that there is no hesitation in your delivery. When you are truly confident in what you say, there is a calmness in your voice, a steadiness in your tone, and an ease in your body language. This kind of confidence is magnetic because it signals strength. It tells the other person on an unconscious level that you do not need their approval in order to feel secure. The moment you stop seeking validation in a conversation is the moment people start listening to you in a different way. People often underestimate how much their emotions leak into their communication. If you are anxious, your voice will be slightly higher, your sentences will be rushed, and your words will carry an undertone of uncertainty. If you are too focused on how the other person is perceiving you, you may over-explain yourself, laugh nervously, or use filler words that dilute your message. But when you remove that self-consciousness, when you trust that what you are saying has weight, everything shifts. Your voice naturally lowers, your words become more deliberate, and your presence becomes more grounded. This shift is felt immediately, and it changes the way people respond to you. Another major factor in the energy of communication is emotional stability. People are naturally drawn to those who are emotionally consistent. When someone's energy is unpredictable, when they are reactive, easily flustered, or overly intense, it creates a sense of instability. On the other hand, when you communicate with a sense of calm, with a steady and composed energy, it creates a feeling of safety. People feel more comfortable opening up to those who don't overreact, who don't take things personally, and who can hold space without being emotionally volatile. Emotional steadiness is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have because it signals strength. It shows that you are in control of yourself. And that control makes others feel at ease in your presence. The energy of detachment is another powerful tool in communication. Detachment does not mean disinterest or coldness. It means that you are not overly invested in the reaction you get. Most people communicate with an underlying need to be liked, to be validated, to be understood. This neediness is felt in subtle ways, through the way they phrase their sentences, the way they wait for a specific response. But when you detach from the outcome, when you express yourself with the understanding that you do not need a certain reaction to feel good about yourself, your energy becomes more attractive. Detachment makes you more compelling because it shows that you are whole on your own. The paradox is that when you stop trying so hard to be liked, people naturally respect and value your presence more. Silence is another powerful way to control the energy of communication. Most people fear silence in a conversation because they associate it with awkwardness. They rush to fill every gap with words, thinking that continuous talking keeps the interaction alive. But those who understand energy know that silence is not empty, it is a tool. When you allow pauses in your speech, when you give the other person space to absorb what you are saying, you create a sense of depth. You make your words carry more weight. Silence commands attention because it shows that you are comfortable enough in yourself to not need constant validation through words. It creates intrigue, and intrigue is one of the most powerful forces in attraction. Your emotional state before a conversation also affects its energy. If you enter a conversation feeling tense, insecure, uncertain, that energy will influence the way you communicate. But if you take a moment to ground yourself, to breathe, to step into a state of confidence before you speak, it changes everything. This is why some people seem naturally charismatic. They have mastered the ability to regulate their energy before they engage with others. They don't enter interactions from a place of needing something. They enter from a place of giving. They bring a sense of ease, of presence, of certainty. And that energy is what makes them captivating. Mastering the energy of communication is not about memorizing perfect phrases or trying to control every aspect of how you are perceived. It is about becoming so secure in yourself that your energy naturally aligns with confidence, with presence, and with certainty. When you speak from this place, you don't need to convince people of anything. Your energy does the work for you. When you master the way you communicate, not just with words, but with energy, presence, and confidence, you shift the entire dynamic of your relationships. You stop seeking approval, stop over explaining, and stop trying to prove your worth. Instead, you embody it. You understand that attraction isn't about saying the perfect thing, it's about being in the right energy. And when you carry yourself with certainty, emotional steadiness, and the power of detachment, you naturally become someone others respect, admire, and crave to be around. The truth is, the most magnetic people aren't chasing, they're attracting. They're not trying to be understood, they simply express themselves with conviction. They don't fear silence, they don't shrink themselves, and they don't give their power away in search of validation. They know their value, and because they know it, others recognize it too. So as you move forward, remember, your energy speaks before your words do. Walk into every conversation with confidence. Speak with certainty. Hold your space. And most importantly, never forget that the most powerful thing you can bring to any interaction is the belief in your own worth. Good luck and thank you for being here. Now go out and own your presence.